Welcome back to another video. Hope you are having a great day. And today with the Imilab W02, which is a smartwatch that it's simple and attractive look at an affordable price with some really interesting things and some things that are not that interesting, but we will check them all. If you are watching this video on your Windows 10 or Windows 11 computer, don't forget to check out KeysFan, where we can find budget official OEM keys at an affordable price, and with the coupon code that you can see on screen, it will get even cheaper. So just in case you want to check that out, link will be down below just next to the Imilab W02. Now we will take a look at everything, including the app and the watch in detail. But inside the package with the accessories, we have this bracelet, which is magnet, and it's really cool. At first I was a bit suspicious and I thought, okay, magnetic will not handle very well, but after doing some sports like biking and paddle, especially paddle and running, jogging in this particular case, I do feel that it's very, very secure. Even when we have motion, and a lot of motion and some impact, is that I did not feel anything at all coming loose. So it is quite strong in terms of the magnetic. Now for those that don't want to use this kind of bracelet, it comes with a normal option, and of course we have other options to purchase afterwards, but I do believe that most people will use the magnetic because it's just easy to put, easy to remove, and basically that is it. Besides that, it comes with a USB power cable and also a user guide. Smartwatch has a 1.85-inch display, which is very easy to see. Nice colors, nice contrast, great brightness, which will allow us to see indoors and even outdoors without any issues whatsoever. Now in terms of the functions, we will see everything that we can do with the smartwatch, how it works, and also the app. But before we do, let's take a look at some quick things. Now, Bluetooth calling is one of the things that I do believe that it's a must on this smartwatch. Easy to use, we can receive and make phone calls, use up to 100 contacts that we can import to the smartwatch. So this function worked great. The sound quality that we get from the watch is really nice, and the sound quality that we can transmit from the watch to the phone is also really nice. So that feedback was just great. It has a 280 milliamp hour battery, which will take about 2 hours to charge. So it's not a really quick charge. Nonetheless, it's not bad at all. In my testings, I was getting about 4 days of battery, having everything activated and doing sports on a daily basis. So this is what you can expect, and if you are a little bit more aggressive, expect about 3 days in terms of sports, and if you are less aggressive, then expect about 5 days in terms of battery duration. So not bad at all. It can monitor the heart rate, the oxygen on our blood, our sleep pattern. We can control music that it's playing on the cell phone, among others. And it has a lot of watch faces to choose from. Some are really cool and some, in my opinion, not so cool. But I do believe that there's something for everyone. In my particular case, I do prefer those that are more sporty side, like the one that I'm using right now. And talking about sports, it will be able to track about 100 plus sports. The only thing that I did not find was paddle. At least at this moment of the recording, it does not track paddle. It also does not track swimming, which was something that I was expecting. Now it will track fishing, and it will track Tai Chi, and it will track archery, but no swimming and no paddle. Talking about swimming, it has IP68 protection, so waterproof protection up to 3 meters, if I'm not mistaken. I've just been using for swimming pool, beach and shower. No issues whatsoever so far. So it did pass the water test. Now, in terms of sports, which is one of the things that I use my smartwatches for, I would say that in terms of the heart rate measurement, in terms of the low and medium frequencies, it will do a great job. So if you are doing small jogging sessions, walking sessions, cycling and things like that, you will be just fine. Where I do believe that it has a bigger delay, and compared with my chest strap as always, is on the medium high and high frequencies when we are pushing pushing really hard. It will take time to get the statistic there. It will get there, but with delay, and sometimes it does not reach the exact that we are getting with these chest straps. So this was my experience during the days that I was working out in paddle, where we have some hit-like moments, because it's really hard in some moments, and our heart rate will go really high and then it will lower and so on and so forth. And I did notice, comparing my chest strap, that on those higher frequencies the watch is not accurate, which is something normal on smartwatches, but we will see some differences, and this is why I mentioned that this will be targeted for those that are not really hardcore in terms of sports measure. I was playing paddle, for example. It did measure in 1 hour and a half, a result of 300 kilocalories, which is not accurate, having in mind the effort that we do and with other trackers that we use. So this is probably as well that we are using one sport to measure the other one, so we have to have this in mind. But in terms of everything else, really nice. If we go for a bike session, then it will be great. It will show us some data, but just using the watch, it will not show us the route because it does not have any GPS. However, if we use the app to start the exercise, then it will use the GPS from our phone, and it can mark the route that we are using, the distance, and so on and so forth. So I did a few bike ride tests and everything seemed okay. In the app there is also a really nice function that we can take pictures just by moving the watch, which is really funny. Nonetheless, let's take a deeper look at the smartwatch and the app. And now looking at the functions of the smartwatch. Now we have two buttons, the crown and this one right over here. The crown wakes up the watch and also shuts down the watch if we want to. And then we have this shortcut right over here, which wakes up and will take us to the spots. If we press it again, it will not do anything. So we will need to press on this button right over here. Now, if we scroll from top to bottom, we'll have these options. We have the screen brightness that we can ramp up or ramp down, and if we scroll screen it will go down. We have the notifications, the settings. As we can see, the settings do not have much options, which is an advantage or disadvantage depending, but it's simple to use. We have the dial that we can select the watch face, but there is another option that we will show you in just a few moments. There is the theme that we also have another option to change the theme, and I'll show you that. And we also have the brightness, the screen time, which at this moment is 15 seconds, but we can lower to 10 or 5. And besides that, we have the sounds, reset of info, QR code and password if we want to lock the watch. Basically, this is it in terms of options, so very simple to use it. We have the flashlight right over here in case we want to use it during the night, and then we have this option which was the same that we were seeing right over here, called the theme. So this is a duplicate. Now, if we go out of the screen, if we go to the left, we have the apps right over here, and as we can see, we have a grid. But if I go out and if I press here, we will have a list. So if we go back, we have the list of the apps right over here. I can just go out, and if I go there again, I will have this icon right over here, which if I go out, you will see that we have the apps like this, and we can choose them. And I can use also, I was forgetting about that, the crown to scroll and make them bigger or smaller so that we can scroll through the apps. Now this one, to get out, we cannot go to left or right. We will have to press right over here, and then I want to change this back to the grid. In terms of apps, there are the apps that we have for sports and whatnot, the normal that we find on Imilab watches. It's very complete. It has a lot of stuff, including these games right over here, which we can have this shortcut. Now, if we go back right over here and scroll down, we will have the notifications. Have in mind that I'm Portuguese, so my notifications are in Portuguese. But as we can see, we have right over here scheduling a appointment that I've got with my dentist to the 30th of August at 16:30, and we can scroll through the others and whatnot, so it will work just fine in terms of notifications. And to go out, I will have to go on the inverse. So if I go down, and I will need to go up. Now, if I scroll to the right, we'll have some shortcuts. Have in mind that I did not use the watch today. I'm just recording the video, but I do have some data on the app, so I will show you there. This is where we will find the steps that we did, the distance, and the calories that we have burned. We have here another shortcut for the phone, which if we go back and if I do this, I've got the same right over here. So depending on the way that we want to use this particular case, if I want to make a quick call, if I know the number, call logs, my contacts, and if I want to switch to lock the calls. Now let's go back to the right. Next we have the heart rate measurement. We also have the oximeter, and then we have the sleep. I did not sleep with it, so there's no data right over here, but I've got it on the app. And if we want to control any music that it's playing on our phone, we can. We also have the weather and the inspiration and expiration in terms of relaxing with the help of the watch. It might be useful. I personally don't use on any smartwatch, but it's right over here. We also have a few games, and right over here, if we press, we will call our assistant, Siri or Google Assistant, something like that, and we'll have those options. Now to go out, we will need to scroll to the left, or if we press right over here, we go home, and basically that is it. We also can change these smart faces right over here, the watch faces. I didn't count them, but there are quite a few, and this one is the one that I did already download from the store, and the one that I prefer in terms of sports, in terms of measurements that we have. And basically this is it in terms of the smartwatch functions. Now, in terms of the app, what we have right over here, something really simple to use. It's the Imilab Fit, and having in mind that for the last 1-2 days I did not use the watch, so it's incomplete right over here. But if, for example, if I go to the steps today, just 10 steps, which was when I did pick up the phone. But if I go to 3rd of August, we have 660, which is not much. I did not go out this day. Here 7,000 and something. I was testing the watch, 5,600. So we will have an historic right over here in terms of steps. The same will happen to the sleep, for example. I don't have right over here, but I do have on the 3rd of August 7:40. I do believe that it's more than I usually do. This is probably more accurate on the 6 hours range, so we will keep the history, and I would say that according to what I usually do, this is pretty accurate. Then we also have the heart rate, which we have a historic right over here, and it will show us percentage of the heart rate level that we have used, or the zone that we have used. So right over here where I did play paddle 1st of August, I think it will show me that extreme sport rate 100% of the 24 hours, 100% here, 3%, 3%, 13 and 79. So it was a bit of a more active day, and then it will show me all this data, and of course by month and so on and so forth. We also have a shortcut to share if we want, and this will be the kind of menu that we'll find across all the settings that we have right over here, like the blood oxygen, which some of the values I do believe that are a bit low, 97. I would say that this is more accurate, at least this is what I tend to believe. And pressure the same, we will find right over here, and of course I've got everything active, so it will waste a little bit more battery, but it will give me all the information right over here. And besides the pressure, we also have the mood, and it's saying that I'm peaceful at this moment. Sometimes it says positive, negative, peaceful, 73. So this is the kind of data that I usually don't use, but right over here if you find it interesting. And then we have the options so that we can enable or disable any of the options that we've seen previously. I'll just close it up and we can go to the next. Now in terms of spots, it has a lot of spots. This order right over here is us that decide. Now if we go to the plus sign, you can see that there are more than 100 spots right over here, and I've got tennis on the first one. So if I go to the watch and I press the sports button, you will see that tennis is indeed the first one that we can see right over here, and then alpinism, and then walking, baseball, and so on and so forth. So we can change the order, and we can remove them, put them on this list right over here, and change everything that we want. We also can change right over here. And for example, I only played paddle with this smartwatch to test it out, and if I press right over here, it will show me the exercises. Now 2 of those were real, and these 2, one of which I did forgot to start on where I did start the game, and this one I was just doing something something to test it out, but what happens is that I actually don't have a button here to remove this one. Yeah, I did try earlier, and I would love to see a button to delete exercise. Now, if I go to one of these exercises, I was playing paddle, but there is no paddle option. So the thing that I see right over here is that playing for 1 hour and 40 minutes with a maximum heart rate of 167 at an average of 122, with the next 86th of minimum, and it only shows me 313 calories, which is low for the type of exercise that it is. Now, having in mind that we are not playing tennis, we are playing paddle, but even though it is quite a push, so I would say that the calories is the only thing that I would say caution, but everything else looks nice. And we also have the chart that will show us the average heart rate, the maximum, minimum, so on and so forth. So if we go back, we will have, I only played paddle, so there is no other data for the other sports, but here it is, the kind of information that we have. Now, if we go to the device, we also have all the options right over here. In terms of the Bluetooth call, we can enable or disable sync contacts. There are 100 contacts available. So in my particular case, I've got about 600 here. I would have to select the ones that I want, probably family and few friends and so on and so forth. Now, we can enable or disable the calls. We have the watch faces, which there are a lot of watch faces. I think that I did record a B-roll where I can show you a little bit faster how many. Well, you cannot count how many. There are so many. We just scroll down, it will show us loading, and it will show there are too many. Now, I did select one or two that I did download, these two, and this is the one that I'm using at this moment, which is one that I enjoy in terms of graphics and in terms of the sports and so on and so forth. And we also have custom dial, which are the ones that we can customize some of the elements. So basically this is it. In terms of the heart rate settings, we can put it on auto or not, and the same for the blood, the emotional stress, the sedentary reminder that we can enable to remind us of 1 hour or 2 hours to tell us to get out of the couch. Now, we also have the notifications, so if I want, when I receive a phone call, we can activate, and I will receive it right over here. The same for the messages that I've got activated, and then we also have for the apps. Now, the apps, I've got most of them enabled, but I do have some apps that are not here on the list, and I do have the other enabled. Now, what happens is, for example, there is an app for the paddle games that do not show in terms of notifications, so the firmware probably needs to tweak here and there to allow any app to send notifications push. Then we also have the SOS contact, the light up, the do not disturb, and more settings. But more settings do not have that much. We have the shake to take a picture, which is nice, the find the device, and then we have the language and the time. Basically, this is it. We also have the reset, the unpair, and on the profile we have things that we can put on settings like your height, your height, and the goal that we want, weekly or daily, and so on and so forth. So basically, this is it in terms of the app. Simple to use with the information that we gather from the smartwatch. And that is it. This is a simple smartwatch for those that want something really nice, capable of measuring some sports, but are not expecting really high standards in terms of sports. It will do accurate results, but as we could see, with some limitations. But having all this in mind, especially features like the Bluetooth calling, the battery duration, the look, the design, the screen, which looks really nice with the accessories like this one right over here, then in my opinion it is totally worth it and a solution to consider if we are looking for a really nice smartwatch at an affordable price. That being said, my name is Roberto George. Hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did so, don't forget that usual thumbs up right over there, which is really appreciated on this side of the screen. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.